happened. I would like for him to start by explaining what happened on Sunday as the market was closing down. And I'm asking him to share this first because it's very important and it's going to guide the conversation that follows. So Billion, can you tell us what happened?
Hello?
Yeah, we
Can you
can
hear me?
hear you. Yes.
So let's see. Probably about 5 o'clock or a little after 5, I was trying to come in the barriers, and I noticed that there were two cars parked in the middle of the barriers. There were a line of cars on Crenshaw waiting to get in, and Inspector Walker's car was parked behind the two cars that were parked perpendicular to the barriers, basically making it impossible for anybody to get through. So um finally Inspector Walker walked up to me and he was like, how could I let this happen? And I was telling him, I just got over there. I didn't know the cars had parked there. I told him clearly the security we're paying for dropped the ball. I noticed there were three new faces I've never seen with the security company before. Inspector Walker continued to, fuss about certain things. And finally he was like, I'm gonna have to pull the permit. And I was like, come on, for real. This is clearly something that the security company did. And, he just kind of like threw his hands up, shrugged his shoulders, and walked off upset. Um, got in his car. He sat there forever, waiting for the people who the cars belong to show up. The first person came, they managed to squeeze out, but the second person was just blocked in tight. So Inspector Walker lectured him for like 10 minutes. Then finally, dude left. Inspector Walker drove on into the market. But since that point, Jen spoke to him Monday. She can go into that. And I actually just ran into him at the grocery store. So he was in a much better mood. And again, basically saying, he supports us. But yeah, at that moment in time, security dropped the ball big time by allowing what we found out there were people who had come to the Utopia thing, because as y'all remember, that was happening all day Sunday. And for whatever reason, I mean, common sense should have just told them that was not the place to park, but they did. Unfortunately, the security didn't see them, stop them, and then we have agreed with the security way back after they got started that in situations like that, they would have to unfortunately go ahead and tow the cars. But again, by them being all new people, I don't know if that information was communicated to them. But because of that and other reasons, there will be some change coming this Sunday.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. So again, what happened on Sunday is the reason for this Thursday call. We had our regular Monday call, but being that it was a holiday, we only had 3 people on the call besides Billion and myself. So we wanted to make sure that everyone knew what was going on and had the information. So again, even though Walker said he was going to pull the permit, to our knowledge, as of today, the permit has not been pulled. I talked to Walker Sunday after Billion told me what happened, and Walker was saying, we might need to replace our security company. We need to change some things. But he was very upset. And as I explained to the people on the call on Monday, Walker's been going to bat for us in keeping this permit, because even though the opposition to the market isn't as obvious and as blatant as it was when we first started organizing the market, there are still people who do not want to see the market be successful. So what Walker shared off the record is that the fire department and the police department, they're having people who don't want the market to succeed. They come to the market, they take pictures, and then they send the pictures back over to the fire department and to the police department saying, hey, they violated this, they violated that, you guys need to shut them down. So even though it's gotten better, I just want to reiterate that there are still people who want to see the market shut down. So with that being said, we are going to have to start being more mindful of what's in the permit and adhering more closely to what's in the permit. And if we can't get, I hate to use the words like compliance and following the rules and different things like that, but as I've always said from the very beginning, there are over 100 of us out there each Sunday. It only takes a few of us to get the permit revoked by not adhering to the rules. So we're going to review them briefly on this call tonight. And then on Sunday, we will have them in writing to hand out to all of the vendors with an expectation that the vendors will sign, showing that they did receive a copy of it. And then moving forward, if for whatever reason, a particular vendor is not in compliance with what's on the permit, then there will be repercussions, not being able to participate. Because again, when we're all talking about moving in community and being part of community and holding the space for community, that also means adhering to community agreements. And at this point, the majority of us have agreed that this permit is what works best for now to hold the space. This isn't the only solution. It may not be the best solution, but it is the solution that we have now. And until we can figure out something different, we need everyone out there on Sundays to buy into the community agreements. So do we have any questions so far or comments so far? And please just unmute yourself and speak. I have the map on the screen. So if I can't see if you raise your hand. So if you have a comment, please unmute yourself and speak up.
Hi, I don't know if you guys can hear me. Can you tell me if you hear me?
Yes, Lana?
Yes, hi. I got here kind of late. I was trying to get my passwords and all that stuff going. But are we going to be able to set up this Sunday? Like you said, that so far you haven't noticed that the permit has been revoked. So we're able to continue this Sunday or?
Yes.
Okay. And
At
I just
this
wanted to let you guys know I'm here. So.
Okay, glad to have you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, because I haven't received any texts or emails, so I'm hoping in the future you guys would kind of send me, because I had to find out from a friend. I didn't really know about this meeting tonight, so I appreciate if in the future you guys can send me a text letting me know.
Okay, and as always, Miranda went around, well, first Onyx went around collecting names, business names, phone numbers, and email addresses. And then when Miranda came on board, Miranda's gone around a couple of times collecting names, contact information. And if you're not getting the information, then it's your responsibility to come to, and I'm not just speaking to you, I'm just saying in general, right. It's the vendor's responsibility to come to the info booth and verify the information that we have on file for you, because people's phone numbers change, people's emails change. You know, maybe when we had someone inputting it, there was a typo, you know, but if you're not getting the information, then please come see us at the info booth. we work with an iPad, we can pull up the directory and we can show you what information we have on file for you. And if it's not correct, then we'll correct it on the spot.
Okay, I'll do it again for the third time. No worries. I have patience. I appreciate you guys. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments before we move on to the map? Okay, so this is the actual map that we had to submit to the fire department to get one of the permits that we have. Again, we have a total of 7 permits. We had to go through 6 different departments to get the market approved. We had to go to one agency and get 2 separate permits. But this right here is the permit from the fire department. On the map, I'm sorry, not the permit, the map. On the map, you'll see each little red square represents a 10 by 10 vendor booth. The green booths are where the farmers go, but everywhere you see the red tents, the red squares, those are vendor tents. The tents are supposed to be pushed back all the way against the curb. Every Sunday, as we're walking through, Miranda, Nakia, and myself, and sometimes Africatown, we are reminding people, please push your tent back, please push your tent back. The reason for this is because if you look at the slash lines, the slash black lines with the blue arrow going down them, that's our fire lane. And one of the requirements of this permit is to keep our fire lane open. So when people start moving their tents forward, then it cuts down our fire lane. Because in addition to where the tents are, in the white space next to the slash lines, that's where the pedestrians are to be walking. So if vendors are pushing their tents up from against the curb and they're scooting towards the yellow line, trying to get visibility and trying to get seen, that cuts down our fire lane and that jeopardizes our permit. So again, all tents are to be, the back legs of your tent are supposed to be touching the curb. Now, vendors have said, well, when it's 5 o'clock, there's no place for me to go back up on the sidewalk if there's someone behind me. For most of the sidewalk areas, we don't have vendors on the sidewalk. Now down by the 43rd Street barrier, when you get towards Barbara Morrison and Aki Bamboo, there are some vendors who come and set up. Those are not our vendors. Those vendors say that they're connected to Barbara Morrison and she's told them that they could set up there. But if you go from Aki Bamboo down to Soul Folks, I don't believe there's anyone set up on the sidewalk. If you go from Soul Folks down to Hot and Cool, there's only one person who's set up on the sidewalk over there, and that's Lana, who does the massages, right? And she's set up kind of on the curb and not really blocking the sidewalk. So we've been very intentional about keeping the sidewalks open. I say that to say there are some vendors who want to stay after 5 o'clock when we start to break down. There should be space available on the sidewalk for you to move your tent back up onto the sidewalk after 5 o'clock. The other thing that Walker shared with us is technically our tents can be in the street until 7 o'clock when the permit ends, but it's better if the vendors go up on the sidewalk, because then as we're bringing the cars in and escorting the cars through, that allows for the pedestrians to be closer to the curb and on the sidewalk as opposed to in the street with the traffic. So are there any questions about the tents being up against the curb? Okay, in addition to the tents, vendors moving their tents towards the yellow line and reducing the fire lane and the space where pedestrians have to walk, then we have some vendors who have a footprint that's bigger than 10 by 10, vendors who have double tents, even if the tents are front to back, or people who have bigger tents that are side to side, or people who have set up displays outside of their tent. while there is some flexibility in that, again, we can't have vendors going too far outside of their 10 by 10 footprint, because again, that reduces the space. And I'm going to keep talking about reducing the space because the space becomes very, very important at 5 o'clock when the vendors who are breaking down to go home, when they want to bring their cars in. So let's move on to the cars if there's no questions about the tents. So what we're going to start.
Jay, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Diane, Designs by DHB. I understand all that you said, that the tent legs has to be back to the curb. My situation is, and I don't know if anyone else has that situation, there is a garbage can behind me, and all day long they throw food, water, and it's just spilling all over my back of my tent. So that's a situation that I don't feel that I can pull my tent all the way back, because if I'm pulling my tent all the way back, I'm sitting where they are just storing food. I've got flies. I've got everything over there where I am.
Okay.
Now, I am willing to, if you want to solve this problem and I want to be compliant, I can give me another space that's not there, if that's available. Because I have to bring, like stuff every day, every Sunday to spray to try to keep down the flies and all of this.
Okay, so there are two things with that. One, on Sunday, when we're physically on site, then we could look to see what we can do to mitigate that. If it's just a matter of, having you shift a little bit so that you're not directly in front of the trash can. If it means, trying to find another space without being on site, I can't really speak to that. And then the second thing is, I think Billion has a solution to offer, or some information to add to the situation, because you're not the only one who is set up in front of or directly next to a trash can. So it's something we're going to have to figure out.
I have a question. My other question is, can the trash can be moved? That would be the best solution for me. If that trash can be moved, I'd be more than happy to put my legs back to the curb.
Again, without being on site, I can't speak to that, because then the question becomes, where does the trash can get moved to? And who's to move it? So there are some other logistical things that go with that. So again, we can visit that on Sunday. You generally arrive pretty early. So,
yes, I do.
So we'll try to address that on Sunday before you get set up. Billion, you had something to add?
Yeah, I was actually speaking to Kevin earlier about this, and we are going to buy some solutions to try to keep the areas more clean throughout the day. But also, Brother Umar across from you, directly by the bear, he's been having a similar issue. I think some of those cans over there are locked down, so I don't believe there'll be an option to move them, but we can make sure the brothers who are out there helping us remove the trash could pay a little more attention to the cans down on your end.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm making notes, Diane, and I know you're near a trash can, like Billion said. Umar's near a trash can. I know Onyx and the people who are on the corner by the clock, that corner in the morning is quite problematic with the trash. And then there are a couple of food vendors who are in a similar situation. So again, like Billion said, discussions are being had to figure out how to mitigate the trash problem for the vendors that are near trash cans. Okay, do we have any other questions regarding tents being back against the sidewalk? And then the other part of the tents being moved is like if one vendor moves their tent up, then the vendors around them tend to move their tents up as well, thinking their, visibility will be reduced if someone's tent is in front of theirs. So then maybe there's a conversation or some marketing ideas as far as, how do we do signage? We've gone to some farmers markets and they have A-frame signs placed throughout, and it'll say, this vendor, and it'll have an arrow pointing whichever direction that vendor is. So there are solutions, but a lot of those solutions are budget oriented. We're not collecting enough funds right now to even cover the basic operational costs. So some of these extra things that are amenities, niceties, extras that would add to the market, we don't have the budget for it. But as a vendor, feel free, if you want to have an A-frame sign made to sit in front of your tent to, say your name, or, something to draw attention to your booth, then you're welcome to do that until we can figure out the budget issues and we can do some more collective directories and things of that sort.
Jen,
Jen,
I have something to say about because I do move my tent from time to time, but it's most of the time because of the sun, and like it's directly on my glasses and stuff, and it like burns the people's face when they put them on. So I
Okay,
try to bring out different things to block the sun, but it's like directly on the tents a lot of times. Or right
again,
on the products. A lot, and like a lot of times stuff is like burning up out there. So
okay, again, without being on site, we, I don't have a solution offhand. I noticed last week when it was hot and sunny, there were some vendors that had like, it wasn't even a full tent wall. It was like a partial wall, or sometimes just a large like cloth that they hung up to block the sun from coming in. We can, brainstorm on solutions once we're able to physically see, what the challenge is. So I'll put your name on the list of people that we need to visit on Sunday morning when we get out there.
okay, thank you.
Studio B Designs, this is Brenda. On my side, where a few of us from Sika's place on down, the Saturday vendors use that as there is a Jamaican probably vendor there that is there every Saturday, and they leave their food not in a bag but exposed and out. So there's like food, there's drippings. It's in the gutter where we need to set our tents back to the curb. I've even bought rugs there because it's so greasy and nasty. So consequently, as a result of that, we are inundated with flies, which is one of the reasons why I asked for permission from Miranda if I could move my tent up a little bit, only to move it back, but that problem exists. And it is one every week. And so we have to sweep and clean. Everybody sweeps and cleans, but I don't know what we're gonna do about the garbage that's left over from the night before, and all this dumping of food. By the time we get there, it's already thrashed. I have to clean before I can even get in there.
Oh,
So
okay. Go ahead, Billy.
right now, it looks like we have the most vendors we've had on a call in a minute. I see a few who are actually out there on Saturday. Possibly some who are not out there on Saturday can commit to coming out this Saturday. And we as a community talk to the brothers and sisters who are present on Saturday and see if we can help them figure out how to resolve some of these issues. Because we've been talking about this for 2-3 months now. We've gotten nowhere. The merchants haven't committed to some of the things they said they were going to do to help. The different Leimert Park Village Inc. and Equa, and even the council office to this point have done nothing. So at this point, once again, it's telling us we got to do this. So between the people who are present on Saturday and some of you who can be present this Saturday, if we all can agree on a time to go out there and talk with those who are out there and see if we can figure out possibly getting them to piece up and bring in the garbage truck Saturday night. Because again, the problem is a lot of them are now collecting and stacking their trash, their garbage, but because it's not getting removed, different things are happening. Like last Sunday, a brother walked all the way down Degnan and emptied every single trash can into the middle of the street. So were they to hire a garbage truck on Saturday night and remove it, that would eliminate that problem. That would put us in a position where we get there on Sunday and all we have to do is focus on possibly sterilize and put down certain solutions to eliminate some of the flies. But if we can, before we get off this call, agree to meet up Saturday at a certain time, and let's collectively talk to the people out there. Me and Kevin have talked to them several times. I know some of you have said y'all have been out there and talked to somebody. I think if we do it as a community, they will finally get the message and we can collectively figure out how to get that garbage truck there and even get them to, tidy their situation up a little bit better.
Billion, I have a question. Is there anybody that's the sort of being the person that organized on Saturday? And you're saying meet with them to get them to arrange a truck. Who's going to pay for that truck? Are they going to pay for it? Are they willing to take part of the funds that they earn on Saturday and pay for this truck?
So here's the problem. There is no one person organizing on Saturday. I know Marcel's out there later and she works with a lot of the food vendors. Day had been organizing Utopia, but on Saturday, different merchants do different things. It's do what you want to do. So that's what I'm saying. If we could go as a group this Saturday and possibly help them find that person or collectively commit. Again, we have a lot of people on this call. So if they are willing to organize on Sunday, some of the same people that are on this call organizing on Sunday, to me, it would seem like would be the ones to go ahead and take the lead and collect the money on Saturday. And we can give them the number to the same truck and the brother can come make that pickup Saturday night. And, that'd be that. But instead of us talking about this for another 2, 3, 4 months, to me, that's the best solution since we got so many people on this call tonight.
I have a comment or a question or a question.
Okay,
Can
we
you
can
hear
hear.
me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, do you think that that's going to be feasible? Meaning, if there's nobody in charge of Saturday and you just going and talking to random vendors, and most of those vendors are not even a part of the village per se, they only come out there on Saturdays and then that's it. And then you just random pop-ups. Do you think that that's going to be feasible, just walking around as a group, approaching vendors and asking them for money to clean up trash?
Well, like I said, it's so many that's on this call that's there Saturday. Plus, I've seen a more regular group that is out there on Saturday also. So yeah, I think if we can go and either somebody that's on this call takes that initiative or we find somebody else Saturday, because again, the garbage truck is only $150. So with all those people out there, whether it's $5, $10, $20 each, the $150 is nothing compared to what we're having to raise on Sunday. So I think it would be best to at least make that effort and see if we can identify that, as opposed to next Monday, we're talking about the same thing. Again, the solution is there if we step up. I'm personally overwhelmed with Sunday and other things as it is, but I'm willing to commit at least this Saturday to come and be a part of that conversation with everybody to try to finalize Saturday no longer being a nuisance.
Right. I honestly think, yeah, that's true, that to take the first step to do that. But I honestly think that if Saturday was like Sunday, meaning organized, then we wouldn't have this problem. And I know that you guys are doing an awesome job on Sundays, and you guys are overwhelmed with Sundays. So, I mean, I don't know what else could be done, but that is a first step, is to, to go out there and, to talk to them.
Are you out there on Saturdays, Nadia?
No, not really. I was only out there this past Saturday, last Saturday for Labor Day, but I'm rarely out there. It'd have to be an event for me to be out there.
Okay, so then out of the 24 people that are on this call, if you don't mind, if you're out there on Saturday, do you mind dropping your name in the chat box? So that maybe Billion and I can speak with you to see if you know other vendors out there on Saturday, if you have a kind of rapport or relationship with any of those vendors out there, because sometimes what we've learned in doing this Sunday market is sometimes the information is better received when it comes from someone who's out there with you on a regular basis. So if there are any Saturday vendors, on this call, if you don't feel comfortable putting your name in the chat box, then maybe send me or Billion a text after this call, and we can get with you to try to figure out a solution to make this more manageable for Saturday and Sunday. So Shonda put her information in the chat box, and Lana did too. So we'll start with them. And when you're out there for hours at a time with people, you get to tend to talk to them, know them. So maybe they can help us facilitate those conversations. The next item about the map is we're going to need to institute some changes to the load in and load out procedures, because part of what happened with the incident on Sunday with Inspector Walker is that as the cars that came in and were blocking the space, they caused traffic to back up onto Crenshaw. So it's not a big change. It's just that we're gonna start having the entrance at Degnan and 43rd Street. And then we'll have everyone drive out and exit on Crenshaw Boulevard. That way, if there is a traffic jam, a holdup of a car being moved or whatever the case may be, the traffic backs up on Degnan, which has much, much less cars coming and going than Crenshaw. And then as people, pack up and exit, when they leave on Crenshaw, they're just, out of the space. But we think that will help eliminate some of the issues of traffic backing up onto Crenshaw. The other thing with Crenshaw being the entrance is that vendors who arrive after 9 o'clock and they can't drive their cars in, then what they're doing is they're double parking next to the barriers and they're unloading their stuff right there, which again is problematic because it goes against the permit, but it's also problematic because you could literally be hit by oncoming traffic because you're actually blocking that first lane of traffic coming down Crenshaw. So again, starting this Sunday, we're asking all vendors to enter from Degnan and 43rd Street and then exit on Crenshaw Boulevard. Are there any questions pertaining to that? Questions, thoughts, suggestions?
So I could say already there is going to be a little longer wait and probably a little more congestion because part of what's already happening on Degnan and 43rd, people who are vending on that end are already parking by the barriers and loading, which has already been an issue for the security down there. So we're gonna probably have somebody from Africatown down there also to help direct traffic, but more than likely it won't be as fast as Crenshaw because of how small the street is, but overall it should be a lot safer.
And then in addition to having Africatown at the barriers, we've talked to the Department of Transportation. They're supposed to be hanging some no parking tollway signs. And at this point, it's kind of a thing, if someone is illegally parked, we'll have to call to get them towed. So at this point, we've been doing this since April. So what's that? May, June, July, August, September. We've been doing this for 5 months already. So pretty much people should be familiar with the fact that there's barriers, you know, in these locations every Sunday. And, you know, that they can't park there. So for people to continue to do it, at this point, we have no choice but to have them towed. Otherwise, we'll be in violation and we could get the permit pulled. So are there any questions about the, beyond what Billion said about coming in on Degnan and exiting on Crenshaw? Okay. Billion, do you have anything else to add about the tents, the permits, or the parking? If not, we'll move on to the next item.
No.
Okay. So with all of the legal stuff out of the way, we're going to move on to the marketing piece. So by now, I believe everyone should have received an email with this draft of the marketing postcard. If you haven't received it, again, it was emailed out to everyone, I believe on Monday or Tuesday. And it was emailed to whatever email address we have on record for you. So if you did not receive it, please email info@leimert-park-village-vendors.com and we will make sure that you get a copy. So this is the front of the postcard and it's just general about the market, just an overview of what we have. Produce, microgreens, food giveaway, soaps, oils, juices, sea moss, sage, just all of the different things that are offered at the market. And then you could see it says every Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. In Leimert Park. So since I said 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., we would like all of the vendors to be very intentional and very specific and very on the same page. If we go to people's social media, some people say that they're in Leimert Sunday from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. or from 9 to this. The times are not consistent. So we're asking everyone in all of your marketing materials, please say 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Because what that will do is it will it'll help us start our marketing efforts. We know that it's a little bit slower in the morning. We started the yoga programming at 11 to try to get people to come out earlier. There's some other things that we like to do as far as marketing and programming, but we'd like it to be consistent so that people know, you know, when you come out at 10, all of the cars are out. This past Sunday, we had a couple of vehicles still inside the barriers at 11 o'clock. Not all vendors are set up, you know, all those different things. So if we could ask everyone to please show on your marketing materials that the market hours are from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you stay after 5 p.m., that's up to you. But for the purposes of marketing, please, again, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Are there any questions, comments, or thoughts on this front of the postcard? Okay. And on the back of the postcard, can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay, it's just really quiet. Okay. And then on the back of the postcard, what we wanted to do was to highlight the vendors that we have who participate in the market regularly and who are in, you know, good standing, the vendors who are cooperating and in alignment with the whole process, the vendors that pay, and the vendors that contribute. So when the email went out, there was also a request on the email please look for your name. If your name is missing or your business name is incorrect, or if there's a typo, then please contact us, email us, and let us know so we can make the corrections. So we had 2 people contact us about, just making corrections. Then we had another person who contacted us today saying that their name wasn't on here. So what we'll do is, again, we've sent this out to everyone. We will have a copy at the market on Sunday. We'll go through it a final time on Sunday. And if any corrections are not given, then we'll make the corrections that are given on Sunday. But if you don't ask us to make corrections on Sunday, that's the deadline for corrections, then the postcard will be printed so that it could go out sometime next week. So please look at it, make sure your information is correct. And if it's not, let us know. And then we'll give it one more shot on Sunday when we're at the market. Any questions or comments? Feedback on the postcard? Do you guys like it? What are your thoughts?
I think that it's a great marketing strategy to pass out flyers in different areas or whatever. Because there's a lot of people that come to LA from different parts of the world. So I think this will be great. And a lot of, I don't know if you see my post, but I said a lot of my customers are from out of state or whatever. So even if they're from out of state, they always find a way to find some Black people. So this will be another way to push them over to where we are.
Okay, thank you for that feedback. And that's kind of the idea behind this. So once we have the postcards printed, what'll happen is we will have street teams that will take the postcards and pass them out, like at Venice Beach, Hollywood Boulevard, downtown by what is it called, LA Live, and things like that. So it is targeting the market of people who may not know about them or people from out of town. I think Billion was telling a story on another meeting where he met some people who live right down the street from the market and they didn't even know that it was going on. So it's to, get the information out. In addition to passing it out at those locations, we'll put some at places that will allow us to leave it there, places like Simply Wholesome, the Starbucks on down on Crenshaw, places where you find like the Wave and the Sentinel, things like that. Any place where they will let us leave some, we'll definitely leave some so people start becoming aware of what's going on Sundays. Billion, did you have anything to add to that?
No.
Okay.
Part of the marketing team, and everybody's welcome to join. We're looking to do this Friday and Saturday, the 2 days prior to the market. I've promoted a lot in LA most of my life, and we get a lot of folks from other cities and states trying to find where the Black people at. They go to Hollywood and that's cute for an hour or two, but ultimately they want to come see what we doing. So, we're going to be hitting those spots, but the more folks who sign on, the more effective we will be.
Okay, thank you. And then in addition to the postcard going out yesterday, we had a very productive meeting with the marketing team at KBLA, the new Tavis Smiley radio station. So we need to say thank you to Hugh and to Reverend Washington. They're the ones who set up the meeting for us. And at the end of the meeting, Africatown agreed to sponsor our first round of radio advertisements. So starting on September 15th, you will be hearing professionally produced commercials about the marketplace on KBLA. It's so quiet tonight. There's no feedback on any of this.
I'm getting there. I couldn't unmute myself. That's awesome. That's really good. We need all the exposure that we can. We need to let everybody know. And
So what-
I wanted to say, can I say one thing also? I had there was a I don't know if I'm saying her name right, Lunel. She's a comedian. You know what I'm talking
Mhm.
about?
Yes.
Yeah, so I had seen a picture of her. She would post a picture, like a throwback picture of her. And I was like, I didn't even know if she lived in LA or not. But I said, oh, because she was in Venice Beach at her throwback picture. And I said, well, whenever you're in LA, you should come take a come down to Leimert Park. I said on a Sunday, and I told her about it or whatever. And this was like months ago. This was maybe like 2 months ago. And she responded to me the other day. Funny thing, yeah, she responded 2 months later, but she said that she lives 5 blocks away. So hopefully we can get her, you know, and then some other people out to the village on a Sunday.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you for saying that about celebrities, because we have several celebrities that, you know, follow our page. We had yesterday, Anthony Anderson was in the village as part of the launch for this new Black bank called Mochify. So he was over there. So it's like, just like Nadia reached out to this comedian, you know, through Instagram. We encourage all vendors to reach out to Black celebrities who, you know, you think are LA based or from LA, who might, if not even come out and visit the market, but maybe share some information about the market. That's how we started getting a lot of traction on social media. Is even Marcel, even though she lives in Atlanta, she's from LA. So when she saw, you know, Save Leimert, then she did the post. She shared our post, and that got, you know, I think we got almost like 6,000 likes off of her celebrity using her platform to share the post. So if you know any local celebrities, if there's, you know, someone commented when we posted the video about with Anthony Anderson yesterday, someone commented, oh, I didn't know he was down for the community like that. I'm going to follow him. So what would it look like if all 100 of our vendors, you know, followed him? If he gets 100 new followers in a day, of course, if he's looking at it or his team is looking at it, they're going to be like, hey, what caused him to get 100 new followers today? And then they come back and they notice, oh, look, they're all from Leimert. Let's check out what's going on in Leimert. So there are ways, free ways, quick ways that we can all work together to get, you know, more publicity around the market.
with the KBLA ad for the next 4 weeks, it's going to run Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday during the next 4 weeks. So a way we can help possibly drive traffic to that, to drive traffic to us, is on those days. KBLA has both Instagram and Facebook pages, so we could just kind of promote them, and possibly, you know, folks to tune in and hear that commercial and be reminded to come join with us. But yeah, and also any day, most of the DJs have it where you can call in and speak on whatever their topic is, and usually they have good topics. But you know, you could call in and say, hey, you know, this is so and so. I'm a vendor over at the African Marketplace on Sundays. Before you make your comment, that's another free way for us to market and get publicity, because they are gaining a lot of traction. They've gotten DJs from some other radio stations, so those DJs like Dominique Prima, other folks, are bringing a following to that station. But again, it's just another way for us to also tap in. And even after this initial 4 weeks, we are looking to continue the relationship and you know, have regular ads ran on there. Tomorrow, we're also going to reach out to KJLH and see what their advertising is like. And for about the past month, KPFK has already been running it's more so what they call their community calendar, but they did allow us to do a drop about a month ago that they've been running. So that'll be at least 3 stations we have been broadcasted on.
And then piggybacking off what he said about listening to KBLA. So if everyone could follow them, they're on Instagram as KBLA 1580. And also they have an app. Even if you don't listen to the app, please just download it, because they were explaining to us how radio stations are, I don't know how it's tracked or how it's monitored, but how they get their ratings, based on things like how many listeners, how much activity their social media is getting, and how many people download their app. So if you can, again, please follow their Instagram page. It's KBLA 1580. And then if you can download their app, and it's available both on Google Play Store and the Apple Store. And then, as Billion was saying, we want to continue this beyond just this first 4 weeks. So like I said, Africa Town sponsored the first 4 weeks. So then we would like for vendors to contribute towards, future rounds. They do it in 4-week blocks, so when you're paying your weekly $30 fee, if you can add $10 and say, this is for, KBLA, or this is for radio advertising, then we can start collecting that money. So when this 4 weeks is over, we have the next round of marketing ready to go. Any questions or feedback on that? Okay, so these were the primary things that we wanted to speak about tonight. We wanted to address what happened on Sunday. Some people may have heard, that the permit was in jeopardy, or whatever the case may be. Like we said at the beginning of the meeting, we have not gotten any word that anything has changed. So we're prepared to set up for Sunday like usual, except for we're going to be entering on Degnan and 43rd, and instead of entering from Crenshaw, and then we're going to exit on Crenshaw, and then we're going to do our best to keep our tents as close to the curb as possible. For the people who are set up near trash cans, we're going to walk the site on Sunday to see what solutions are. Billion, I have a question about trash, going back to trash. That big dumpster that the city had put in that parking lot behind the Vision Theater, is that still there, or did they take that back already? Do you know?
I saw it last I paid attention was probably Sunday, and it's overflowing at this point, so it's not too much else that could go in it if it has not been dumped since Sunday.
Okay, and then is it like locked? Is it accessible? Like, if we needed to take some of the trash that we clean up on Sunday morning, if we needed to take it over there, would there be a way for us to put it inside the dumpster?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's been where you could throw it over the top, but the last I saw it, trash is like about ready to start falling out of it. So
Okay, but supposing it's empty, there is a way for us to put trash in it.
yeah, you just throw it over the top of it.
Okay. And then maybe that's another thing that we can do is have a conversation, send another email to the council office and maybe city sanitation to find out, you guys put this dumpster here, what's the dumping schedule? So we'll make a note to do that, and then we'll see how that works out. So we covered marketing, we covered the changes to the load in and the load out, and tents. Is there anything that we still need to address for this particular call? Are there any questions or comments?
I just want to
And I have a question.
Uh-huh.
I have a question. With the new coming in and going out, Is the cutoff time still 9 o'clock?
Yes,
Vendors coming in?
yes.
And you had mentioned like, you were gonna have them to put up no parking signs down where the barriers are. And if people do park there, I understand that by the time you call someone and get them over there, the person would have been long gone by that time. So is there going to be a charge for you guys calling these people to come and pull people away or tow them away? And by the time they get there, they're not going to be there. So how are we going to rectify that?
From what we've been told, there is no charge. The tow-away signs are part of the fees that, the city charges when they issue the special street closure permits. To answer the other part, there's no way to tell, what's gonna happen by the time the tow truck gets there. So the ultimate goal is to have the person gone. So if they leave before the tow truck gets there, they're gone. So our primary concern is just that they're gone.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else?
Yes.
I
Is
just-
oh. Is there any events coming up soon?
Any events as far as what's happening on Sunday or just events in the village itself?
The village itself.
So I know that on Saturday, September 25th, Tech Lamert is having an event. They call it a tech conference. It will be outdoors. It does seem like they're going to have the street closed off because I spoke to one of the organizers today and they were speaking about, vendors and some of the merchants bringing, coming outside and setting up for that particular day. So that's what I know about for the rest of this month. Going into October, I don't know of anything just yet. While we're talking about, and does that answer your question so far?
Yes.
Okay. And then I noticed in the chat, people were chatting about Utopia. So from what we've seen on social media and what we're being told is that Utopia is now taking place on a rooftop at a location, I believe it said in Hollywood. So it's not going to be on People Street anymore. If you're looking to follow Utopia, they do have an Instagram page that announces the rooftop location with the specific address and everything.
Yeah, they said they're already to their capacity, so they can't take any more people coming to dance.
Okay, at the new location or just on People Street?
Nope, the new location.
Oh, wow.
You at the RSVP, and they're already maxed out.
Okay, wow, that's amazing. They have a great following then.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. So as we learn about more events, then we will let everyone know. We do have an events calendar on our website. Unfortunately, Miranda has been sick and she's like our right hand, arm, shoulder, everything when it comes to our technology. So we're a little bit behind on our post and updating the calendars and things like that. So we'll try to get, as much done as we can. Thank you, Monique. I'll let her know that you sent her well wishes. And then we'll go forward from there. So if there are no other questions or comments, then we can end here.
I did want to give an update real quick. Sunday, I had stated that we were going to have certain actions concerning Mark Ridley Thomas this week. I think Monday, I got a message that a mutual contact has spoken to him and had a good conversation concerning the market. So I think this week I put up maybe one light post concerning it. And I do want to thank Brenda and Sister Bilal. They both helped to, raise up the issue. Actually, it was based off of the work that our sister did last Saturday when she went out and she captured that other markets are not being held to the same requirements that we are, such as the barriers, the EMT, the security. So they raised that up. Sister Nadia also had made a video over at the Crenshaw Farmers Market. And yesterday, during that event, Jen was speaking about concerning Mocafy and this new debit card. Mark Ridley Thomas did come and speak to me. And he was basically saying, as always, help is coming, and we just got to be patient and give him time. However, he did not appreciate certain social media posts, and he did try to say that it's making it hard for him to do what needs to get done. And again, this is why we keep emphasizing that it has to be a collective voice, because when they try to isolate and make it seem like it's just me, Billion, or we as Africatown against the councilman, then they could use that to make it seem like we're actually bullying him or trying to bully him, as opposed to when the community voice raises up and says, yo, these are the concerns we have. Yo, we're hurting. Yo, we need this. Then he can't just dismiss it as Africatown or Billion coming after him. And at this point, I think that is what's really going to help push them to do stuff a lot faster. Because again, if they can just keep responding to what I as an individual, what we as one group are doing, you got to know how much more they're going to respond when more of us start stepping up doing the same thing. Then they can't just play it as we're jeopardizing the whole thing. So again, those of you that have been sharing posts and making your own posts, making your own videos, trust and believe that is going to help us get what we need to get done. I think I was sharing Saturday or Monday that some of the bigger organizations, they constantly run what they call Twitter storms, where for an hour or 2 hours, as they're trying to get certain policies made or certain things done or not done, they just have like hundreds, if not thousands of people post the same thing. And it is repeatedly shown that pressures these officials to respond. So again, as more people keep coming out their comfort zone or coming out their regular routine and just, making a small post here and there, you could also tag the council office on Instagram. You could tag them on Facebook, and they'll get that based off of everything we've seen, how they're responding to our posts. As more people tag them, they will see that, and it will most definitely have an effect. And like I was sharing with him yesterday, he's talking about us making posts about him, but I shared with him, raising this $6,000 a week. Again, this is 2 mortgages, and this is coming from people who are in need. And that's one of the things he told me yesterday. He was like, he heard way back in the meeting we had at Juneteenth, I told him, you've been making money, eating good for 3 decades now, but it's people out here starving, homeless, who need immediate help. So he said yesterday, he heard that, and that's what he's trying to respond to, but he can't respond to social media posts because they're like punches. But again, that's what's moving them to actually do what they do. So we need more people to keep doing what you're doing, and even more to step up and start doing it.
And then if I can add to that, sorry, my printer's going. If I can add to that, after Ridley Thomas spoke to Billion yesterday, he asked if there was anything that I wanted to say. And I asked him, I said, you keep talking about this bureaucracy and how long it takes to move things. Why don't you give us back our cashier's check for $3,800 that we took to Bureau of Street Services and not make us pay the invoice, for those city fees? And then and there, he said, yes, you can get your check back and tell them to send the invoice to my office. So, I immediately sent an email over to Bureau of Street Services. Hey, I spoke with Mr. Ridley Thomas today. He said you guys can return the check to us and to send the office to him. And I copied Ridley Thomas on the email. As of yet, I have not gotten a response or heard anything from either one of them. So I want to be optimistic. I want to be hopeful, because if he gives back that $3,800, that puts us in a good position for at least a week, for next week's market. But because, I haven't heard anything back yet, I don't know how optimistic to be. So as Billion is saying, if we can keep the pressure on, then maybe it will make them make him honor his word about refunding us the $3,800 and him taking care of that invoice.
I just wanted to say something, piggybacking off of Billion as far as putting pressure on him on social media. You just posted his certified page or verified page or whatever you want to say. But when I was making my post, I don't know if you noticed, Billion or Jen, that I didn't even realize that he had like 3 different pages. And I think one of his pages is his personal page, because I think the other page, that's his page, is him and his wife. So I tagged all 3 of them.
Can you share all 3 of those Instagram handles in the chat?
Yeah, let me find it real quick.
Billion, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just saying it's perfect that she tagged all 3 of them, because again, whether it's his staff looking at it, whether it's him looking at it, or she was just saying maybe he and his wife looking at it, that's momentum towards them feeling the pressure. And again, 24 people on this call, if we could get at least half to be consistent with that. Just imagine if 12 people were tagging you constantly about do this. I mean, think about it when your kids are constantly nagging you. So now here this is, a council person has a whole community of people coming after them. And, he's saying he's trying to save, the L word, but we call it Africa Town. He's trying to save the area. So here people are right here in the area saying what they need. So sooner or later, he has to give in to that.
Okay, thank you, Nadia. So she put all 3 in the chat box. As it said at the beginning of this call is recorded. So if you don't have a chance to write down the information, just email us, and then we can send you a copy of the chat. We can print the chat from the evening and send that to everyone. Monique, do you have your hand up? You're on mute. We can't hear you.
I'm trying to get off mute. Okay. I was just listening. Good evening, everybody. I was just listening, and I was wondering, Karen Bass, would it be odd or out of the way for you guys to have a conversation with her? Because I believe, isn't her office on either Wilshire or Western or one of those?
Right. Yeah, we are actually reaching out to her now. The primary thing is because she may possibly run for mayor. We have had some contact with her in the past, but yeah, we most definitely are trying to connect with her, because she can become mayor, and she's way different than a lot of folks talk. She's really about the people, but because of the position she's in, she's been kind of restrained. But she becomes the mayor, y'all, that'd be a great thing for us. And I don't endorse no candidates, but this is one time I would most definitely get behind her running for mayor.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. I listen to, sometime I zoom into some of her meetings that she has, and she is about the community.
Okay. If we don't have anything else to add, then we can end here.
Just one last thing real quick. So the elections, I don't know how familiar people are with that, but that is something that's being worked on right now, getting elections for actual positions within the vending association. Because again, the plan is for vendors to step up and take on some of the responsibilities that we have been doing to this point. But again, having people that are actually in the vending community now be in charge of themselves and establishing, the different things they want. Right now, Sister Brenda has really stepped up and she's really presented some ideas as far as structuring grievance procedures and different things. Her and Sister Onyx are working on bringing some committees together. So again, as we can have more people step up and willing to take on these responsibilities, we can more easily resolve a lot of this and move towards an even better situation for all of us.
Okay, all right, thank you, Billion. So that's all that we have for this evening. The changes as far as the load in and load out, again, will be printed in writing. And then on Sunday, after everyone is all set up, we'll walk through and we'll individually review your information on the postcard, and we'll give you a copy of the agreements as far as load in and load out, and then we'll move forward from there.
I have another question real quick, Jen. Are you going to send a mass email out? Because it's over 100 vendors, only 20 something of us on this call. So are you going to send a mass email about the load in and load out?
Well, I'll send another email, and then we'll try the texting system as well. But not trying to be funny or sarcastic, but it's the same 23 people on the calls every week. And the other vendors, are busy, oblivious, whatever the word may be. So that's why we're also going to do it in writing. And then, like we said, Africa Town and myself will be at the gates, at the barriers on Sunday. So when they can't get in on Crenshaw, then we'll just redirect them around to Degnan.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's it. That's all for tonight. The call is recorded. Once Zoom sends me the link that it's ready for sharing, then I'll send that out as a mass text as well, so that people can either rewatch it, or for those who couldn't make it, then they'll have the opportunity to view it. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Peace.
Good night. Good night.